And we should now be live. Good evening, everybody. I'm just going to double check everything is working correctly. I have a feeling it'll be a bit quiet since Evo is still online, but we'll get to it since we're not doing anything too difficult today. We're literally just building this enclosure, so just gonna get to it really. All right. Huh? Yeah, reasonably happy with how that looks, although darkness is falling in. Which means it's going to be almost impossible to see. But then, I'm gonna have to wait. Cannot see a damn thing. because it's not within the range of effect of a power transfer. No. Oh. This is the maintenance thing. JC, don't come in for like 60 minutes. No, thank you. Another dead Lucas. I have scientists, right? I do. Oh. Oh yeah, because that was up here, wasn't it? Hmm. It's maintenance. Fucking go. Hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Suchomimus to the park.
Ah, Suchomimus have finally had babies. It's taken them a while. That. Yeah, that'll do. Hello there, Random Ratter. How are you? You are one of the few people here, because I think everyone is still watching Evo, but that's fine. Ooh. Come on, nighttime. Need you to go away so I can see what I'm doing.
Attention personnel, please stand by for a vehicle return.
Another dead dinosaur. Let's kick the bucket this time. That's another street. What's going on up here? Fast forward. Get rid of nighttime. I swear nighttime in this game lasts double the length that it used to. Hello, Chad. I'm doing okay. How are you? People are slowly starting to feed in now. There we go. Yeah, the stream is quiet, but I think that's because, you know, Evo is still doing her stuff, and today is a D&D night, so I really couldn't start at 9. Sundays are quite busy now. It used to be that only I was streaming on a Sunday, but Evo switched to doing, streams on Saturdays and Sundays, so I have to cope with the fact that everyone watches her first. They betrayed us. Yes, quite possibly. Right, so today I want to get the raptors in the raptor enclosure, and I also think I want to have a go at doing with the Paleomedical Center what the plan is, which is to create its own little quarantine zone off the back, if I can. We've got much space. I will probably use the Rebirth Raptors. I actually quite like the Rebirth Raptors. I will probably... Right, now we have some sunlight. I can pause the game and get back to doing what I was doing, which was, getting this looking slightly nicer. But yeah, I'll probably use the JP3 and the Rebirth Raptors side by side, because I quite like that combination. Going to need... Just want to make the edges of this river, well, I say river, this water, a little bit less boring. Is Rebirth worth it? What, the movie or the DLC? Because that's two very different questions. It's interesting you should say that, Chad, because I've heard like entirely the opposite. Like that it's really, really poor. So I think it's definitely going to be another one of those sort of Marmite quality films that there's going to be some people that think it's really good and others that think it's horse manure. I don't really have an interest in it either way. I'm not going to be going to watch it. I've not really been enthused by the trailers and stuff I've seen for it. It just looks like yet another standard Hollywood movie involving dinosaurs where they just present the dinosaurs as generic movie monsters again, which I'm kind of bored of, so yeah, no interest. Some trees in here. Apparently they don't hold back on the violence. Well, okay, but like, just because it shows a dinosaur ripping someone to pieces doesn't necessarily make it a good dinosaur film. And so far, all the reviews and stuff that I've seen, people, it's that the film has just... Some people said it's boring, which I find very strange. It's not often you hear people call a dinosaur film boring. But yeah, I just don't have any interest in watching it. Just because it's a dinosaur film doth not mean I am particularly bothered. Plus, cinema prices at the moment are ridiculous. Like, it's so expensive to go to the cinema now. I mean, it always used to be expensive, but these days it's just outrageous. I'm not surprised cinemas are complaining that, like, no one's coming to them when their prices are, like, double what they used to be. Or that, at least that's how it feels like. And I kind of feel like cinemas deserve it, because at least in this country, they're so rubbish compared to cinemas in other parts of the world, especially America. I'm not surprised that cinemas in this country are struggling. Hello, Basti. Actually, Chad, I don't mind the feathered sort of. I think it. Okay, let me restart that. I actually think the concept of a sauropod with feathers is quite interesting. It's been something I've been meaning to actually get commissioned to be drawn, because I quite like the idea of a feathered sauropod. It's just something different. But the way they created theirs, I mean, theirs looks like it's literally just someone's put a blanket on top of a sauropod. It looks rubbish. And there's been a lot of accusations that the film has used AI-generated dinosaurs, actually. So yeah, I'm not particularly enthused by their dinosaur design either. I'm not going to do too much more vegetation stuff in here, because obviously the raptors have a bunch of requirements. And I want to make sure we can actually fulfill those requirements, I guess. So let's go get the raptors. As you can see, I really haven't done very much digging up of stuff in campaign. I really need to go and spend some time doing that. But this particular map doesn't have an expedition center, so we can't do it. I love that. The rebirth raptors are the only thing decent about that film. They really are. Shall we... I actually quite like the idea of using the JP3s for the males and the rebirths for the females. I think that's quite an interesting combination. The Allosaurus looks like a Frankenstein monster, or if a dinosaur survived a nuclear bomb. Why is it that me... Because I don't particularly like Jurassic World's Allosaurus either. Why is it they just can't make a nice one? Right, we are going to do a little bit of genetic manipulation here. Just because I want these guys to be happy with their enclosure as we possibly can get. There really isn't much more of this park to do. I mean, most of it is just decoration work down here, putting in a few amenities probably around here somewhere, and then like doing the decorative work around the place, because pretty much it is basically now finished, which is nice because it's taken a very long time. What's going on here? Ah. Only two. Oh. Let's try that again. It's ILM, the same company who works on Jurassic World. Well, I would have thought ILM would have done them good, considering, but the Allosaurus looks bad. How would I design a feathered sauropod? Well, I think I would... The first thing I would start with, and this is the thing I think a lot of people ignore when it comes to... A lot of paleo artists who put feathers on the dinosaurs, you'll just see it as a very generic sort of, oh, there's just, there's just feathers all along the back, or just feathers all over the whole thing. And for me, the first question I would be asking is, what are they using the feathers for? Because feathers are quite... If you think about how an animal grows and what it has to put energy into, feathers are one of those things that requires a lot of growth. You have to create all those chitinous bits, and they are very also maintenance heavy. For feathers to be effective, they have to be cleaned and pruned. And the first question for me, if I'm putting feathers on a dinosaur, is what are they using the feathers for? Would a sauropod be using the feathers to keep it warm? Probably not. So it's not going to have feathers all over itself. Is it going to be using them for display? That's a little more, I think, a little bit more likely. If it's using them for display, then they're going to be located on places where they stand out. So on the necks, on the tail, on the head. And if they're being used for display, they're going to be brightly coloured as a result, so that they stand out. Chances are sauropods, given that sauropods were, considerably, they would often be eating a lot of food because that's what they're designed to do. The chances are those feathers are going to be noticeable even when surrounded by trees. So they're probably going to be relatively long, and they're probably not going to be green. They're going to be every colour other than green. Interesting to know the collision does not stop a dead dinosaur being taken away. Right, our raptors are ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a velociraptor to the park.
Okay. They want cover and they are going to want pasture. So they want pasture. Really? We've only got 55% pasture in there? Come on, raptors. Start, moving about a little bit, please. He's not uncomfortable. He would be more comfortable if he would move about his enclosure. If these dinosaur movies want to be creative with the dinosaur designs and actually be creative instead of using Jurassic World designs, by the way, is Saber using AI? Oh, you mean Jurassic Park Survival? It would. I was rereading everything about it again, and I don't think the interpretation of that is true. I don't think they are. I think the guy was just saying, well, an AI would be preferable to dealing with this woman. But I do think it's concerning that the guy is so supportive of AI. Oh, come on, Raptors. There's absolutely no need for you to be doing this. You're not missing pasture. You just need to explore your fucking habitat properly. This is one of my biggest bugbears about the territory system in this game, is you are solely dependent on the AI directing your animal to actually move around the bloody habitat. Not to mention, why do raptors have such high brushland requirements? It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, the entire enclosure must be full of grass. Otherwise, they will be distinctly unhappy. Finally. I'm not going to have breeding of the raptors, because this enclosure seems to be borderline as it is. We'll just have the 4 adults. Oh, what's died? Another Lokiceratops. Now then, I want to kind of have a look at sorting this out. So, it's going to be the easiest way of doing this, actually. Probably just to do something like this. We, get rid. You know. And that's the edge of the building there. So really, we want to get rid of this whole back wall, actually. How many pieces did they use in this very slight area? So much wasted piece count. Not much, Lord Bumblebee, because we haven't really been doing that much yet. We've put the raptors in their enclosure, and that's about it. Okay, that gives us a decent sort of exit area. Now, or does it mean? I suppose it makes more sense for it to be sand, really. And of course, we don't have any sand in there. Sand is in here. It is slightly off. Slightly off is not flat. That's going to be a nuisance. I have started an experiment on migration patterns for herbivores and how to get them moving in specific directions, but no breakthrough yet. The territory system has always had that problem, though. Like, it was never very well implemented, even in Evolution 2. The animals just don't... The animals just don't move around enough. The sauropods especially don't. And these are just... Okay, so you need something to line the edge of that with. So maybe just a good old fashioned... Okay, why do we not have the brick wall in non-gridded either? I know this might sound like me complaining again at Frontier, but it really does bug me that we got some pieces in, like, some pieces we totally got in non-gridded form, and then other pieces we didn't. And there's no correlation between the ones we did get in gridded and the ones we did not. It's just complete randomization, and it makes no sense. It's so bizarre to me. Like, here, you can have this wall in gridded, in non-gridded, but did you want a brick wall in non-gridded? I'm sorry, you can't. Why not? Why? Why did you make that distinction, Frontier? Uh, 15 degrees down. Nice. You want to kind of have something in the way here, so we are going to need probably We are going to need at least a little bit. Interesting. That's not the same size on either side. Huh. Very peculiar. We're gonna need. Yeah, we're gonna need these. Just duplicate that. Boom. No, the two raptors are male, two raptors are female. The male raptors are Jurassic Park 3, and the female raptors are the Rebirth raptors. This bit would be a little time consuming, just creating the... That's a nuisance. It's fine. Let's copy this. Have one of these over there. Let's do the same over here. How do you personally feel Gareth won't direct Jurassic 8 after all? I don't... Look, I don't particularly think Gareth Edwards is a particularly great director. When it comes to the films he's made, I think most I either think are okay or are not good. I don't think he's a particularly great director. And some of the things he said about, you know, not finding feathered dinosaurs scary and all that lot, he clearly just doesn't respect the animals. But to be fair, him not directing it is not the bigger issue. I'm a bit more concerned over the fact that no, they're still going to have David Cope writing it, and that's the bigger problem, because David Cope is a hack writer. We saw that with Rebirth. Like, he just did not create a good Rebirth script. And we also saw when it came to He wrote another recent film whose name completely avoids me, but basically that one was not particularly good either, from what my buddy nerd guy was saying. So that for me is the bigger concern that the next Jurassic film is still going to be written by David Cope, and David Cope is a terrible writer. I also do not see how they're going to continue the story from Rebirth. Like, I don't see in Rebirth as a movie, I do not see the capabilities of a sequel. You know, they did their mission, they got the blood, they left the island, they released everything. Like, which is why I suspect people are going, oh, they'll do like human dinosaur hybrids, because now humans are going to be using that blood to do stuff, which if they did do that, it would be terrible. So yeah, I just don't see how they're going to continue Rebirth on. Because even character-wise, I don't think there's much more to do with the characters. Like, let's be fair, Scarlett Johansson's character was not particularly the most, like, nuanced or unique or interesting character to begin with. So yeah, I just don't see where they're gonna pull another movie out of their asses from. Let Jurassic 8 retcon Rebirth into a proper Jurassic 7 and don't have David Cope. I mean, I just don't even think we need an... As far as I'm concerned, I don't think Jurassic needs any more films. I think the franchise should just stop. Like, there is no other Jurassic story that needs to be told. I just don't... I am a very big proponent of the idea that a franchise, a good franchise knows when to stop. And I think Jurassic has reached that point. They've clearly got no new ideas for it. What happened Move it. Wait. Because for some reason it doesn't want me to move it straight. Buggerations. This is why I hate modular building. You just want to do the most simple of things. It's much harder than it should be. Okie dokie. Why is that water so? They don't need a ton of water, they just need a little bit of water. Now, obviously, you're not going to put something like a sauropod in here. But I think that gives the effect that I wanted. Honestly, if we did get any more Jurassic Park media after Survival, I'd want a little reboot or alternate, you know. I mean, I think that is one of the few ways that they do legitimately have for creating any more Jurassic Park stuff is to, you know, do a more accurate retelling of the novel. Okay, I think that's all the major bits built. So like now it's just decoration. Now it's just decoration, really, and figuring shit out. This over here is a very big empty space. Is there anything I've recently downloaded of the workshop that we would fit in there? Oh, maybe we could use one of our new park security buildings. It's Jurassic World. Security center. Yeah, we can find a place for this. This level. Let's put it here. Actually, no. Let's... I actually kind of prefer the idea of it being...
Ladies and gentlemen,
Looks good in a dim
be
park.
advised that our weather forecasts predict an incoming sandstorm.
We've only just had a sandstorm.
Ladies and gentlemen, our weather forecast has been updated. The sandstorm threat level has been raised.
Sandstorm threat level has been raised. Oh, one of the dinosaurs was like, a sandstorm? Fuck no. And kicked the bucket. Oh, it's a dippy. What the hell has happened to him? Not very dignified in death, is it? Oh, the raptors are going to be unhappy.
Attention, personnel.
Ah, the power plant's failed.
Power outages across the site. Available personnel, please.
Immediately. Even though it's supposed to get storm What does this storm defense even bloody do? Reduces damage from storms. Right. Doesn't stop it from being knocked out, it just reduces the damage. I see. Maybe we need to find a location for just like a bunch of backup battery generators. Maybe over here, really. Or over here. Just have like a bunch of backup generators. Do you think the Indominus Rex used Raptor DNA because of the crests and quills, or were those just design choices? That's actually difficult to say. The Mapiosaurus had quills, didn't it? Let me just check my... Naturally, I have a bunch of dinosaur images saved because, you know, it's the... Yeah, the Mapiosaurus originally had quills anyway, so it's probable that the only reason the Indoraptor had those quills still is because the Mapiosaurus had them. So I don't think it's specifically the Raptors, but I suppose you could argue that your head cannon that it's because they use the Raptors, which makes sense because we know that Masrani took all the animals that were still surviving off of Isla Sorna to the island, so it makes sense that if any of those raptors were still alive, that's why they had quills on the Indorex, because they were using the Sorna raptors. The big question that I've always wondered is where the Sorna raptors came from, because they are clearly not raptors that were created
Ladies
for
and
Jurassic
gentlemen,
Park, and they
the
were clearly not
sandstorm
raptors.
has now passed. Please resume your normal activity.
They were completely new raptors. Someone went back onto the island after the events of the Lost World to make new raptors. That's my headcanon. Oh yeah, Malleus. Was it Malleosaurus? Whatever I'm referring to. Yeah, the original concept for the Indominus, which I actually think is a lot more interesting of an animal than the Indominus was. I think the Malleosaurus was a much more interesting concept, even from a design perspective. It's a newly discovered dinosaur that they wanted to, you know, beat everyone to it and have it first, and it turns out they make a mess of it and it's a monster and they have to deal with it. That to me sounds like a much more interesting story than the one we actually got.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Lokiceratops to the park.
Are you without lighting? That is preposterously silly, isn't it? This repeater substation is too far away to have made the lights of this work properly. So stupid. I had the headcanon that the JP3 raptors were illegal, like the Spinosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Corythosaurus, and Ceratosaurus. Well, I think it was the video I did very, very, very long ago now, where I was going over what I would have done with the evolution to chaos theories, and I think for my JP3 one, I had you being Dr. Wu and Simon Masrani starting work on... What was it? I can't remember. I'd have to look at the video again. But I had a whole headcanon idea, basically. Okay, we still got a little bit of a space here. feel like this space is calling out for another dig site. Then what if we... do we have a rock that's less big
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Diplodocus to the park.
for it? Oh no. The Acrocanthosaurus would make for a good antagonistic dinosaur, I think. Although I really do think that the franchise needs to move away from only having carnivores as the big bad guys, like, or at least the generic land-based ones. I mean, I've always thought that T-Rex was always a pretty boring choice for a antagonistic dinosaur. I mean, for the original movie, Sure, yeah. But after that point, like, come on, start coming up with some new ones. It doesn't always have to be T-Rex. It's another reason why I think Jurassic Park 3 was kind of, in some respects, better than Jurassic World, is that they at least decided to try and do something new with the dinosaur. Key antagonistic dinosaur. I think their mistake with the Spinosaurus was making it too antagonistic. It became a caricature of a dinosaur rather than a interesting dinosaur. What has just kicked the bucket now? Oh, Struthy. Okay, for this guy... Oh, we need a few more rocks. Well, they disliked what the sauropod, what the Spinosaurus did to the T-Rex in 2001, because the Spinosaurus was clearly not behaving like an actual animal would, and it was clearly doing things... It was clearly being given superpowers. Like, you still could have had a fight between the Spinosaurus and the T-Rex, and the T-Rex still could have lost. You just needed to actually make the fight halfway fair, as opposed to we'll give the Spinosaurus hyper intelligence and plot armor and everything else. I actually quite like the idea of there being like a little yeah, it's like a little archer. And I think we have make the size of that thing a little bit more realistic. Works. I feel like at some point I need to like go around and create some sort of like combinations of bits
Ladies and gentlemen,
that can
we are pleased
represent,
to welcome a Suchomimus to the park.
you know, fossil digging and shit, basically. Just doing it as you go, it just takes it just takes ages. Oh, they're all floating in the air. I do hate it when that happens. No. You guys are all in the air as well. Parasaurolophus has been in every piece of Jurassic Park media to date. Is that true? suppose it is. Because there was the dead one in Rebirth. I mean, I don't really count the dead one, but I suppose technically it is true. It's quite a lot of effort to make somewhere look lived in, I guess. That's not a line to surface. Goodness gracious. little bit more appropriate. I think a remake of Jurassic Park Trespasser would be amazing. Actually, now that the technology has reached a point where it would be possible to make such a game and it not be, you know, terrible. That's mean. Jurassic Trespasser wasn't terrible. It was just ahead of its time. Ahead of its time, like really, really far ahead of its time. These are always... There's not a version of the plastic chair that doesn't have somebody on it. A bit frustrating. I think that looks reasonably alright for like a little... fossil site. Let's get some bushes in there. Bloody dark again. I have to wait until the sun comes back up so I can see what I'm doing. If they did remake Trespasser, would you want them to keep everything the same or make some changes to things like species? I mean, a remake of Trespasser would basically require building the whole game from scratch to begin with, so I think the question of whether they would change species or not is kind of mute, because what we'd actually be looking at is a completely rebuilt version of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Struthiomimus to the park.
Bit big. But again, gonna have to wait till daytime. Are we making money? There we are. Multiple Suchomimus have matured. Oh my. There are a great many Suchomimus in this enclosure now. Good grief. Suchomimus have been reproducing like rabbits. It could be a problem. Suchomimus breeding like that is broken. It really is. What's there? Look at that population limit. The adult population limit is 12, 13. That's outrageous. That should be way lower than that. Look at them all. Oh. Injury? Haven't seen that show up much. It's the Nodosaurus. What's going on here, you two? Short on ground leaf and pasture. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. A Prickon Claw. Lion Angel. It really bugs me that the the veterinary van, yet again, like Evolution 2, does not heal an easily healable thing there and then. You actually have to tell it to go and do it again. I thought they had fixed that in Evolution 2. I'm still working on the 5 stars on some of the maps. Any tips for when I do and wanting to rebuild them into something similar to this? Make sure you have a large quantity of money before you do start rebuilding it. Because in the process of rebuilding, you are going to lose cash. So make sure you have a decent amount of money in the bank account before you start doing that. I also suggest getting rid of most, if not all, of the dinosaurs. Either let them, get rid of their ability to breed so they just die off, or get rid of them out of your park so you don't have to mess about with them as you're rebuilding. I'd also think about, what are you trying to do with the rebuild? So, in this Badlands park, for me, it was, well, I want this to be a fully DIN park. So everything is going to be DIN. Every amenity, all the fences, all the buildings were DIN as much as possible, which obviously you can only do if you have them to start with. So think about what sort of design aesthetic you want to go with the map, and either go and find stuff off the workshop or build stuff. But apart from that, is you know, beautification is what I call it, or at least making a park look, attempting to make a park look nice. Yeah, the campaign parks anyway. Because campaign parks are always going to be substantially very different to sandbox parks. I kind of prefer beautifying a campaign park to a sandbox. In some respects, it's less stressful in a weird way. Because with a sandbox park, you're always trying to ultimately build something incredible, better than what you've done before. Whereas with campaign, it's like, oh, it doesn't have to be excessive. Though I do think the next map I'm going to tackle after this one is the Indonesia map. Because that one I know is... I built that one terribly. It looks shit. So I'm probably going to tackle the Indonesian map next after this. And that's going to take a long time, I think, to get looking remotely good. Show me the raptors. The raptors, where? Is one of our males? There is one of our females. I mean, obviously their habitat needs a lot more decoration. Well, not more decoration, but I just want to put a few. Actually, let's do that now, before I forget. Let's give them swingy meat feeder. One there and there. And let's give them I don't think swinging tire target really makes sense, but maybe these will combine together. Why not have them as separate entities?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are
Give
pleased
them
to
like
welcome the Suchomimus to the park.
little climbing frame. I mean, like this climbing frame might actually be a bit too small. Maybe a few salt licks. Let's give them a couple of salt licks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Nodosaurus to the park.
Give them a bit of a sand bath as well, just to help them out. It's a shame we don't have actual genuine enrichment in this game. I think actual genuine enrichment is a vital element of evolution, which is kind of missing. In fact, I was thinking about this last night when I couldn't sleep, and I might do a video on it at some point, that the sort of representation of life in this game is really poor compared to a lot of other games that utilize animals. Primarily due to the... Most of it is primarily due to the really limited functionality of the animals. What's going on here? You appear to be in the ground. Can we... There we go. There we go. I didn't quite give them enough room here. Grief. Suchomimus. This Suchomimus zone has become absolutely jam-packed with Suchomimus. You're a nice... Oh, Thor. That's Thor. Look at them all. Look. I think there are some picture opportunities here. Never skimp out on a good opportunity for a picture. There's like roaming gangs of Mimus. It's quite alarming, really. this is this is definitely an unsafe quantity of carnivores. It's definitely something the health and safety people would not be pleased with. Go and have a look around and see if there's any other screenshotable opportunities going on. Let's go have a look how. Oh, our Proceratosaurus appear to have. They appear to have cornered. This is concerning. They've appeared to have cornered one of our little maintenance guys here. Where's our beloved goat of Jurassic World Evolution 1? Our Struth is around there. Enrichment. How are our Loki Ceratops doing? This is one. This is quite the herd. Interesting. The random mating. We've got a random green Loki Ceratops amongst the herd of reds and browns. We have a couple of green boys in here. How's our dippies? Dippies? Sauropods in this game, I don't know what it is. They always feel really derpy to me. I think it's because of their limited range of movement and motion sometimes. They are the animals that most struggle with the clipping. Which means it's difficult to get a good screenshot of one of them. It's kind of cute. Let's go have a look at our Dilophosaurus. Reasonable pack of dilos, but maybe you on your own. In the long grass. And then obviously the Sukos. Our little tanks. Nodosaurus is one of those animals that I think is underrated. I think Nodosaurus is actually rather cute. Very easy to look after. Never had significant problems with it in campaign for overbreeding or anything like that. They're just really cute animals. Obviously the raptors, I should say. Other raptors. Hiding. Always take advantage of the opportunity to grab screenshots. Very necessary when you're a YouTuber to make thumbnails with. I hope Diablo and Cosmoceratops appear in this game. Unique designs. I know Fletcher has other opinions about it. I think the game has too many ceratopsians. That is not to say that I don't think Diablo and Cosmoceratops would be cool ceratopsians. I just think Cosmoceratops and Diabloceratops would, I think, be good alternatives had we not got Lokiceratops, and if things like Torosaurus and Pentaceratops were going to stay cut. I think one of those things, I think us lot who talk about, new species coming to the game, I think one of the things we have to remember to consider is that the species that we have are still short of the ones we know for sure are coming back, like Pentaceratops, Camarasaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, Tylosaurus, that sort of thing. So really, when we are thinking about what new animals we'd like to see, we really ought to consider the game with those animals that are still cut that we know are coming as well. And I think if you think about that, the game has a lot of ceratopsians, like way too many already. So as much as Diabloceratops and Cosmoceratops are perhaps better than ceratopsians we currently have, would I want another 2 ceratopsians on top of the 13 that we already have? Is it 13? Let's I actually want to figure it out. Let's see here. Lokiceratops, so that's 1. Wow, Lokiceratops is the only ceratopsian in campaign right now for me. Interesting. No, it isn't. Psittacosaurus. Did I not get Psittacosaurus DNA to at all? Wow, okay. Aqualops, so that's 2. Three for Nasutoceratops, 4 Protoceratops, 5 Psittacosaurus, 6 Sinoceratops, 7 Styracosaurus, 8 Torosaurus, Chasmosaurus makes 9, Triceratops makes 10. Why is Triceratops not on here? Triceratops makes 10. Pentaceratops, when it comes, that's 11. Okay, so it wasn't 13, it was 11. think that's the total count. 11 ceratopsians. That's a lot of ceratopsians to have in game. And I think there are areas of the species list that I think deserve more animals before we start, chucking more on top of a particular family of dinosaurs that already has quite good representation. Another bloody storm. Yeah, more Triassic representation, obviously. I mean, I do think I have a horrible feeling that that's it for Triassic representation. I think Postasuchus and Desmatasuchus are going to be... That's Frontier's token Triassic representation to be added, and then I think from here on that's going to be it. I see not a problem to have more Hadros or Ceratopsians every day. Can choose their favorite dinosaurs from True Raw Earth. I understand that that's a perfectly valid point. However, my issue with that thinking is, well, in that case, just put all 800 species of animal in that case. Which is completely, it's not at all relevant, or it's not at all realistic to have all 800 species of dinosaurs.
We have an asset on the loose and in need of immediate capture.
And in that case, if we have to by default be selective in what animals we're picking. Are you kidding me? It's run out of fuel. If we have to be selective in what animals we're picking,
attention personnel.
Because we obviously can't have
has
800.
been registered by our security system. Capture teams report in.
Why has that run out of fuel? Why have the maintenance vehicles not given that what it needs? Because it's just slightly outside the radius. For fuck's sake. Anyway, as I was saying, like if we by default have to be selective over the animals that we have to pick from, because we can't have all 800 species of known dinosaur, then we need to select the dinosaurs that make the most sense to have. Which are the ones that are... Why are you not refueling? Hang on a minute. Resupply the damn thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the sandstorm has now passed. Please resume your
Why did it
normal
refuse?
activity.
Why did that refuse to resupply that? Like we should select the animals that are gonna be the most visually distinctive, be the most interesting, and also provide representation where representation is missing. Like at the moment, we don't have enough smaller sauropods, in my opinion. We've got tons of big ones, but we don't have any small ones, and we have we have one small one. We're waiting for another small one to come back. And we have one mid-sized one. Like, we need more mid and small-sized sauropods. In the Hadrosaur department, I think we're fine. I think we have plenty of Hadrosaur representation. But that's because I often lump the Iguanodontids in with the Hadrosaurs, because to me they're more or less functionally the same. So I think when it comes to Hadrosaurs and Iguanodontids, I think, again, we're fine. I think for small and mid-sized theropods, I think we're fine. I think for big-sized theropods, I think... Oh dear. I think we're fine. Hang on, what animals are these? Oh shit! One of... Oh Christ! How am I? Hang on a minute. That's a Velociraptor, and there's a Suchomimus managed to get out. Velociraptor managed to get out. Is that all of them? Oh Christ, there's another Struthy. In any case, it is coming up to when I have to pop off now, because obviously it is D&D night tonight. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in today. It's been a bit more of a quieter stream than Friday's was, but it's still good to see you all. Next week's video on Wednesday is going to be the next part of the Hades 2 playthrough from Dane. So do go and, you know, watch that and give him support. And it's a, you know, it's a bit of a different sort of game, Hades 2, than what we normally, or what I play, so, you know. After all, we are not a dinosaur channel. That's just my specialty. So yeah, I hope you go and watch that, and obviously I'll be back on Friday and Sunday for streams, and hopefully on Wednesday, Fallout will be back streaming as well. I think he's due to start the next Batman game, I think. I'll have to talk to him about it. So yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evenings. Stay safe. Or safer than this park turned out to be. And good night.